Welcome, my fellow technicians. I hope everybody's been doing great so far this year. Have you guys ever wondered why some techs are just so good at what they do? Have you ever thought, like, dude, how does that guy know, like, where to look? Like, I explained, like, 3 things, and this guy just knew exactly where to go in that house, where to look, and he finds something. You know, have you ever had that with, like, bed bugs? You just have this guy who's just some bed bug nut, and he just walks into a house, and he just goes right to where the bed bugs are, and you're like, how did you find that right away? Or have you ever been to a place where it's like cockroaches? You're like, I don't see anything. And then some guy gets there who just can freaking sniff out a cockroach. And he just opens up a cupboard and boom, one's right there hanging out, just waiting for him to see it. And you're like, how do you do that? Well, today I want to talk to you guys about how you can do that. Okay, being a technician, we get into the mode, or if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it, about work faster, not harder. When we get into the fast mode of things and we rush through things, unfortunately, there's a few of us in the industry that don't understand the difference, okay? I have a guy here. He brings it up to me sometimes. Not actually much anymore, but this was more in the past. It was a little argument of ours. And he knows who I'm talking about. But and he shouldn't be offended about this because we're over it now. But we would always get in this argument about you work too fast, so the quality of your work goes down. And unfortunately, there's a big majority of people where that actually is the truth. They work fast and the quality of their work goes down. And you have to understand, where can I go fast? Where can I go slow? Excuse me. And unfortunately, it's not a cut and dry idea. It's not black and white. You don't get this fine line of go fast here, then go slow, then go fast here, then go slow, then go fast there, and then go slow. That's not how that works. And so guys turn it on and they go really fast, and then they miss everything, or they don't do certain things because they want to go fast. And they think fast is good. Fast is better production. But it's not the best. And so over here, we try to be the best. And that's where observing the situation is key. And that actually makes the difference of our technicians compared to a lot of the rest of the industry. And if you guys are listening, that's perfect, because you know what? You're probably one of those techs that understands what I'm talking about when I say you need to turn it on and off, and you need to work faster, and then you need us to go slower in some areas. And not everybody's going to understand that, nor can it be taught. And so some of my guys that I've had come through here, I didn't teach them, and I didn't even try to go through and sit through this. There's another guy I can't even do that with. It's not going to work. It's not his style. It won't work for him. But that's okay, because not every technician can do that. So I've created a few things to help with that. But before I get to those things that we've done, what I mean is when a guy goes into a house and he knows exactly where to look, he knows exactly where to go, what to find, how to find that bug, that insect, whatever you're looking at, the rodent holes, where they're getting in. You gain that one through experience, kind of going through the years, seeing what's going on, or you can gain that from somebody teaching you. You don't have to take the long way and take 20, 30 years to learn it. you can actually just go with someone who already knows it and learn it from them. Or you can put yourself in that situation time and time again, and you can eventually learn it. Like me with German cockroaches, I don't have an issue finding a German cockroach. I'm probably one of those guys that you guys throw me into a house, and even if it's a very low infestation, I'll find something or evidence of something, and I can tell you what it is and if you have it or not. I'm not that way with bed bugs, unfortunately. I have to search and search and search and search, and I'll be there forever looking for a freaking bed bug until I find something. I'm not one of those guys who just knows exactly where they are. I have a good idea of where to look, but I haven't dealt with bed bugs a ton, not nearly as much as German cockroaches, and so I'm not one of those guys. But while you're working around a house and you're de-webbing a home and you're working really fast, you need to be able to move your hands where they need to move, but your eyes need to be looking for other things. And when you find something, you need to stop. You need to pause. You need to take a breath. You need to slow down, and then you need to hone in on what you're looking at. Okay? I can't tell you how many times I've been walking around a house, or I've even walked up to a house, and my eyes are all over the place. And the homeowner's probably looking at me like he's a crackhead. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, he's walking up to my house. He's all shifty and like throwing his head all over the place, looking everywhere. But what I'm doing is, as I'm walking up to the house, I'm looking, is there an ant trail? Are there bugs? Are there spiders? Are there beetles? What's walking around the house? Where am I going to have to focus my spray? I'm doing this all as I'm walking up to the house. And then I'll be talking to the homeowner, and they're like, yeah, we have ants. And I'll say, yeah, right here, there's an ant trail. Or right over there, I already see it on the wall. They're crawling up right there. I can see why they're getting in or how they're getting in. And so that's what I mean when I say you need to be able to turn it on and off. Because I'll be de-webbing a house, and then I'll pause. I'll see something, and then I'll kind of follow that ant trail. Where is it going? How is it getting into the house? How am I going to handle this? And then I'll go, boom, right back into it. And then it just goes, and I'll go. As I'm looking for holes, everything like that. If I see openings for rodents, I'll even take pictures real quick. And then when I finish up, I'll be like, hey, did you know you have a hole on the backside of your house? Have you been hearing anything? I've even asked a couple people this before, So right when I'm ending service, I'll stop and be like, hey, have you heard anything up in your attic? And they'll look at me like, how do you know this? And they'll just be like, yeah, it kind of comes and goes. And I'm like, okay, well, just so you know, there's a hole back here. This is what we can do. And then I'll kind of talk to them about it. And a lot of guys are afraid to bring those things up, or they think, oh, it's selling. No, it's not selling, guys. It's helping your client. It's helping that customer. Because you have learned how to go fast and when to go fast, and also when to go slow, on when you can go slower and when you need to go slower, or if you even need to create an estimate to go back for more time because you haven't been able to do a thorough enough inspection around the property. But being that observer, being able to see exact little things is a massive help when you walk into a home. That's how some guys know exactly where to look for certain insects, and other guys are just running around the house looking everywhere because they have no idea what to look for or even how to look for the things because they're in the fast mode. And that's kind of what I do with bed bugs because sometimes I don't know where to look. So I'm just going, just tearing everything apart, trying to find something. But when it comes to German cockroaches, I walk in, I'll look at the customer and say, hey, is it all right if I start looking through things? And they'll say, yep. And then as I'm looking through things, I'm asking them questions, and boom, I'll find something. I'll say, that's what you're seeing? Yep, that's it. I said, perfect. It's German cockroach. And I'm pretty good where 99% of the time, I only have to ask you questions, and I could tell you if it's a German cockroach or not. So, it's all about being that keen observer and being able to slow down when you need to slow down and take your time when you need to take your time. We get too fast, we get too cocky, we get too over ourselves, and we just spit information out. We throw out misdiagnosis, and then we get caught with our pants down, which actually it just happened to us not too long ago. We were going out to a place and we were treating it for flies, and we kept we kept saying one fly, but it actually wasn't that fly. We kept Anyway, we didn't know what this fly was. So we kept telling them it was a drain fly when it was actually a forward fly. And so now that we've properly identified what this fly is, now we can get this place in the right direction and we can get them taking care of the actual issue, at hand. But that's a huge thing. And I think a lot of us overlook those things. And we think it's something small, but, with this, little hiccup that we had here, we kept saying it was one thing and treating it in every single way possible, for a drain fly when it wasn't even a drain fly. And then it was supposedly a fruit fly, and we were treating it as if it was a fruit fly, but it wasn't even a fruit fly. Because a forward fly and a fruit fly look the exact same, other than the eyes. And so that's when you need to take it slow. That's when you need to step back. Yes, you can go fast, but also learn how to turn it off. Learn how to observe. Learn when you need to take, a couple extra minutes and study that situation, study that scenario that you're in. See it, take it in, be relaxed about it, because in the example of the fruit fly, drain fly, forward fly, we went out to this place probably every week for the past month and a half, charging them every time we go back. Every time. Just to say after 6 weeks, oh, it's actually this fly. So it makes us look really bad. And it's nobody's fault other than we just have to learn, how to turn that off. So going back into it, when you guys get good enough and you're looking at those certain situations, or you have someone, you're out there de-webbing, you're going through the whole deal, and someone grabs you and says, hey, I need you to come look at this real quick. I think I have roaches in the kitchen. And you go in and you start opening up cupboards and start throwing everything out, and you're just kind of going through it. You're not going to find anything, Cockroaches are nocturnal. And actually another big factor that comes into it is knowledge. Knowledge does help the situation out greatly when you're going through and their habitat, that specific insect, and what they do, where they live, what they eat. Of course, it's going to be a massive help when you're going through that situation. But if you're in too big of a rush, you're going to go in, you're going to shuffle some things around. I don't see anything. Here's a glue board. Take a picture, send me a picture when you do get something. That's a good, lazy way to do it. But how many customers actually send you guys pictures? Not very many. Very, very few. 2 months later, you come back, you have a glue board full of German cockroaches. They've now populated for the past 2 months. Nothing's been done, and now you have a worse infestation than when the person originally told you, hey, come check it out, but you were going too fast, you couldn't find anything. So we need to do our part as, the professionals, the PMPs, to take our time in certain situations, to understand when it is a good time to slow down and when it is a good time to speed up, to make sure that we are doing our part, that we are observing every situation, every scenario possible on what could possibly, be in certain areas. Because some things, like I went into one of these units, it was an apartment complex that had the flies. I went into one of the units, and that's when I took a big breath. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's take our time. I looked at everything, and I found a grain beetle. And so I pulled them aside, and I said, look, unfortunately, what you have in here, they're not drain flies. You have grain beetles. And the way to get rid of this is you got to throw away all your flour. And I kind of went through the whole process of what they need to do. And I said, look, once you do all that, we can treat inside the cupboards. I said, but this situation is going to eliminate itself because there's no more food left. So once you get rid of the source, it's done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And the people weren't too happy with me because they wanted an instant result today, spray everywhere, kill everything. But that's not how it works anymore. That's not what we do. We're smarter than that. We understand, I can spray and kill all the bugs right now, but if you don't throw away the flour that's infested, you understand it's not going to do anything, right? And that's part of educating, yourself, and then, taking that time to be a keen observer, to be that technician that knows how to turn it on and off, and to explain, hey, this is what's going on. I want to give you a permanent solution. I want to make sure that these go away forever, not today. Because if I do it today, then you're going to have them again tomorrow, or the next day, or in a couple days. And then it may be 10 times worse. And I'm not going to do anything for you. So this is what needs to happen, and then we'll work on it. I've done that now when it comes to rodents. Rodents is a big one. A lot of guys, when they're walking around a house, they're not looking up. A lot of people are looking down. Where are the holes around the house, on the home? And sometimes those can be in eave pockets at a second story eave, and you're just not looking. I walked around an entire house one time, and there was 0 holes around this house. I mean, I was just like, where are these things getting in? And I went back to the front door. I'm like, no, I gotta do it again. I gotta look again. And he had all these plants by the front door, and I was looking down closer, down by the plants, and right there in the corner of the house, I happened to catch out of the corner of my eye while I was looking, there was this brown streak all the way to the top of the eaves. And I followed it all the way to the top, and boom, there it is. There was a hole, and they were climbing up the stucco. They created a hole. They actually made a hole at the very top of the stucco where some of the housing, it was exposed, and then they created an entire hole. We set up traps up inside his office because it was right above his office, and boom, caught them all, killed them all, done. Moved on. Never had any issues after that. But, that is being that keen observer. That is being that guy who can get there. And I should have saw it the first time around, not the second. So I've gotten better at that. And I've gotten really good at rodents now. Now I know exactly what to do. And sometimes, we, in that situation, we actually work a lot harder than smarter in situations with rodents. Because I know guys that are up on top of the roof, they're walking around. They're thinking like, I don't know what they're thinking, honestly. I mean, I had one guy, I showed up to do an estimate with him. And this dude is literally, he's like Spider-Man on this house, going everywhere. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's getting up in the attic. He's crawling around everywhere. And then after he gets done, he does his thing. I let him explain. He leaves. And then I go in. I take about 10, 15 minutes. I do my checks. And I tell him the exact same holes that this guy found. And I didn't get up on the roof. I didn't get up in the attic. I didn't do any of that. I didn't crawl underneath the house. But that's where it comes down to, in some situations, some guys work a lot harder. And because they don't know how to turn it off and fast, but they don't know how to turn it off, they end up doing more work than needed. And they don't do, what they actually should do. So when you guys are going through, just remember, is this a time to take a break? Is this a time to slow it down? Is it, when I say slow it down, don't take 45 minutes to an hour, staring at an ant trail trying to figure out where it's going over to the neighbor's yard. That's not what that means. When you're taking it down and you're slowing it down and you're observing what's going on around you, you only need a couple of minutes. It shouldn't take you very long to process where these things are, what's going on, where to look, how to look for those things. And if you don't know, go back to previous episodes. We talk about rodents, we talk about cockroaches, we talk about bed bugs. And we give a lot of those tips on where to look, how to look for those things, and if you don't learn it from us, that's fine. Go back to one of the other episodes, on how to educate yourself, where to go to educate yourself. Because a lot of these magazines, a lot of these places will actually teach you where to look, how to look for things, and what you need to do as a PMP to handle every situation. There's even on some of the product labels, it will tell you where to spray and how to spray. And guess what? Where you spray is probably where the bug's going to be found. That might have blown your mind, some of you. Go back and read it. Go back and read the label. I'm telling you, it's crazy some of the information the labels give you. When I started, no one taught me anything. All these freaking 20-year-old, guys that are in it, they didn't teach me anything. They didn't want to teach me anything because I was their boss. And guess what? They hated that. Absolutely hated that. And you know what they kept telling me? You need at least 6 months running a route. Why? Why do I need 6 months running a route? Why can't you tell me? Why can't you teach me? They didn't want to. They were scared. I was already their boss. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to take their job from them now? It's not how that works. I'm the owner. I'm not going to take your job. You're doing me a favor. Why would I learn everything and then kick you out? I wouldn't want to do that. I want you to do your route. I don't want to do your route. But these guys were very against that, and it was, you have to run a route. You have to learn. So, guys, I'm here telling you this. So if you're new to the industry, you're just hopping in, and you're just trying to figure out if you even want to do it, and so you found this podcast and started listening, I will teach you everything. I'll be the guy to tell you, hey, look here, look there. This is where you need to go. This is what you need to do. So you can skip that whole 6 months to a year, you got to figure out on your own type thing that I did. But I am going to tell you what I did do when I was trying to figure it out. And reading the label was actually a big one. So just as a quick recap, guys, is as that professional, as you working fast through your route and just killing it throughout the day, remember there are times that you need to take a pause. You need to take a breather. You need to take that one extra step to be able to give them the best service, your client the best service. When you're having an ant issue and it's alongside a wall, go outside on that outside wall, look and observe and see what you can see. Because sometimes that ant trail is going to be right on the foundation, and you can get rid of it from the outside of the house, not even on the inside of the house. Or you can attack it from both sides. But that only happens when you know how to observe. you know how to slow it down, take a breather, and get the job done correctly the first time, not the sixth, seventh time. You know, when you don't know and you grab a sample to get it identified right away, that's observing. That's taking it smart. That is actually slowing it down, knowing when to turn it off. You know, that fast tech. That's when you know. So remember, slow it down, take it easy, take a breather. If you're not getting all your appointments done because you're giving the best service, go talk to the boss and say, hey, Daniel from DNA Pest Podcast told me it's okay. And they can call me and I'll talk to them, because it is okay. You guys do need that extra time sometimes. And so they need to be able to allow that throughout your day. But just be a good observer, learn those pests, go back to the previous year, 2020. We have a lot of good information that we put out on even how to observe or what to look for on a whole bunch of different insects. But go back and learn those things. Go back and listen to it. It's going to help you out. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day.